ਦੇ ਤੁਰੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਡੇਵ ਹੁਣਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਤੋਂ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਸ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਹੰਡਾਇਆ। ਨਾਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਟੈਮਰਨਈ ਤੋਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਫ਼ਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਤੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕੈਟਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਗਾਈਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੇਚਣ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ। ਫਿਰ ਲੱਕੜ ਦੀਆਂ ਮਿੱਲਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ 50 ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਵਧਾਇਆ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਰੈਂਟਲ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਦਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜ਼ਬਾਨਾਂ 5 ਜਾਣਦੇ ਸਨ ਅਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਇਸ ਕਲਾ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜਾਰੀ ਰੱਖਿਆ। ਬੜਾ ਇੰਟਰਸਟਿੰਗ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਚੈਪਟਰ। ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਾਂ ਬਾਪ ਦੇ ਸੰਸਕਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਰੋਲ ਅਦਾ ਕੀਤਾ। ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ। ਹੁਣ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਟੂਡੀਓਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਵੀਤਾ ਅਤੇ ਯੈਸਮਿਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਆ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੀ ਆਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਜਿਹੜੀ करना चाहेंगे। So Avita, I should just carry on asking in Punjabi the questions. You'll be able to. The question I would like to ask, and you've got a shared heritage, and of course, your dad's heritage, which goes back to 100 years, starting from India, and how do you see that as part of your life?
One of the first things I actually tell people when I meet them is that I'm half Indian. It's quite like
wow.
one of the more exciting things I have to say. And, they're always asking a lot about the heritage. And it's generally quite a nice, it's quite interesting and fascinating story to tell, like, where you come from and how you came to be here, especially because, being like half Indian. Not everyone's half Indian, not everyone's Indian. It's quite exciting and different.
Especially where you live and go to school, which in Pontypridd, that's actually not very common, is it?
No. Yes, in our primary school actually, there was an ongoing thing where one of the ethnic people, we were the 2 and 4 ethnic kids at our primary school, which is a bit of a joke now because being half Indian, we're not exactly as ethnic looking as.
No, I wouldn't pick you as but of course I've got cousins who are just like you, I tell you. So I guess Avita, you actually are a prefect in your school as well, so it looks like you've got the Indian nerdy genes.
Yes,
so tell me more. Yes,
I'm communications prefect, so
yes.
Yeah, that would be pretty good for next year. I do a lot of stuff with the library and like the yearbook and do a few speeches, so that should be pretty good. And I actually did write a little bit in my application of being a prefect about my heritage, so that was, maybe that might have pushed me over the edge a bit, I'm not sure.
Indeed. Well, it's quite a unique heritage in itself that, it's Punjab, a northwestern state, and of course your great grandma was part of a partition, that migration that happened. I mean, something that really shaped her views in a way, because she was kind of moved apart. So I mean, exploring your heritage, you say you are getting interested now. Your dad was saying that probably one of these days he is going to take you to India. So how does that play out in your daily life? I know it's a very small part, but still in terms of the values, how do you see that heritage?
I mean, definitely in my day-to-day life, it is quite inspiring to look back at where they came from, especially in school subjects when you write about your heritage. It's such like an interesting story to tell and get involved. Yeah, I just did a piece of creative writing actually on the partition of India, narrated by our grandma. So
wow,
it definitely comes into play a lot, like with school stuff completely.
Indeed, and I guess moving forward, and I guess going through that phase where your dad probably will pass on a lot of values, and of course your mum's side will come through. And then how do you see that balancing out in your lives in the future? Because obviously your next generation and probably would like to know about that as well. It's quite a 100-year legacy, which I guess it's the reason we are talking about this. There is a common ground in terms of your roots starting from Punjab and now here we are sitting in a radio space, which is a Punjabi radio station, you know, discussing all of this. So anything that you feel that will stay with you that is, you know, very uniquely Indian, as to put it? Yeah.
I'd definitely say the ambition to work harder. Like, you know, you see your grandparents being immigrants in an entirely new country, entirely new surroundings. So, you know, it really like pushes you and drives you to just work harder and do better than what you can.
Indeed. I wish you both all the best with your journeys, your studies, and so Vita and Yasmin, thank you for bringing your dad and coming here, I guess. So it is fascinating to see the progress in 100 years, as to say, which is remarkable. So Dave, I guess my question, and obviously people would like to know, what do you do these days?
I've in property development. We've set up modular housing manufacturing in China, so we've designed our own flat pack houses, which I've got a couple of contract plants in China that'll going to build them, and we're going to scale out affordable housing. So that's the next project. Plus I build some stuff for the government for Kaingora, for do subdivisions and build houses for them. And then I've got another infrastructure project. We're trying to build the first new port in New Zealand in 100 years. So
which is up in Whangarei, you mean?
No, in East Cape. So
East Cape.
yeah, you know, so you may as well, you know, I'm getting old, so I decided to may as well give it a nudge, one last nudge, and try to put on some big projects that push the boundaries and the edges, and you know, yeah, because you know we've got an entrepreneurial background from our heritage, and you know, so we're trying to like just try to do that. And you know, and when we had the video shops, we were quite successful, and we used to win a lot of the national retail awards. You know, 27 we won Enterprise New Zealand regional award, lost the nationals to Michael Hill Jeweller.
Wow.
So we used to best video chain in the country. So we used to win quite a bit of stuff. IDG Innovator of the Year runner up in 2000. So we do a lot of that stuff. So now the next stage is really trying to come up with a housing solution, which everyone tries. But you know, so come up and see if we can, you know, give another couple of projects. And see how we go with those.
Well, you certainly got the right government to back you up on that, isn't it?
Wow.
This is Labour's pet project, isn't it?
Well, so it's all government's pet project globally, because it's the same problem over the entire world. No one can afford to build houses, so
yes,
you know, it's probably the same amount of people trying to do what I'm doing is trying to come up with a COVID-19 vaccine. Lots of people trying.
Indeed,
you know, one or two might get there.
Indeed. Dave, thank you for your time. Thank you, girls, for coming over. And it was a pleasure doing this interview, and many more to come. And I guess it's a never-ending journey, but very fascinating how far you've come in all aspects, especially your entrepreneurial legacy. The family started against all the odds, you know, starting from Whakatane. I mean, it's middle of nowhere, really. You know, I've got my uncle's got a little bat in Pukehina just down the road, and I always say, what, you know, middle of nowhere, what the hell? But then you guys just pushed it even further, and you know, it's a land which is full of all sorts of people.
Sounds like my father and your grandfather probably cut scrub together.
Yes,
in Tamaranui.
Tamaranui would have been the case. Great granddad indeed in the second Nava, he was cutting gorse, and you know, your scrub for a very long time, which was basically what they did. There was no other work.
No.
And that's how they first made their fortunes, and in fact they bought their first farm from the Maoris because nobody else would sell them a farm.
Yeah, well, that's probably, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, so that's in Ohura, which is not too far down from where Judith Collins' mum is, just 2 doors down. So yeah, it's a small world. But Dave, once again, I guess any message for people who are watching this, and this is going to be archived into the Punjab to Aotearoa stories, journeys, which we will have available for our next generation to revisit. So this is your moment.
I think just take the best qualities of your heritage
Yes.
and build on them, and just know that there's plenty of other people in the same position, and it doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
Wow, those are quite heavy words. So ਹੁਣੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਦੁਆਬੇ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਫਰਮਾ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਨਿਊਜ਼ੀਲੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਣ ਵਿਚਰਿਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਟਾਈਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਛ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ $1 ਰੁਪਈਆ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਏ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਅੱਜ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਔਲਾਦ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਕਰੋੜਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੇਡਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਲਾਈਫ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰਨੀ, ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਮਿਹਨਤਕਸ਼ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਰਿਸਕ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਸ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਤੱਖ ਪ੍ਰਮਾਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਲੈਗਸੀ, ਇਸ ਦੀ ਜਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ। ਬੜੀ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਾਸਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ। ਸੋ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟਸ ਇੱਥੇ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਘਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਅਫੋਰਡੇਬਲ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਦੇ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਪ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਏਗੀ, ਅਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰਟੀ ਬਿਲਡਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨੈਚੁਰਲੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਾਖ ਜਮਾਈ ਹੈ। ਇੱਕ ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ 'ਚ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਸਪਾਈਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ। ਆਵਾਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੁਰਦਾਸ ਮਾਨ ਦੀਆਂ, ਦਿਲਜੀਤ